Good morning, everybody. It's Steve Brown from Mirae Asset Securities, Mirae Asset Live. Joining us this morning, we have Miss Mirae, Board of Director member of OCB Bank, successfully listed on the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange on the 4th week of January 2021. Maya, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll talk about the successes and developmental milestones of OCB through the course of the conversation, and then also where you see the developmental strategy of your bank moving forward. If we first of all cast our minds back to when the bank started back in 1996, officially commencing operations, you've rapidly enjoyed a lot of good strategic partnerships, alliances, and customer uptake of your service offerings. One of the first strategic partners you had was BNP, and then you've also latterly, in the lead up to your Basel II compliance accreditation, had a bit of a strategic relationship with DBS Singapore. And then you've also, in more recent times, brought on a new strategic investor, Japan's Azora Bank. So if you'd like to just start off with how you've seen some of the important milestones of your business.
So as you mentioned, we have been around for 25 years and have been an independent private bank since 2010. So since around 2010, when we became a private bank, we went through a period of what one might call restructuring. And building up the groundworks and the foundation for a stronger bank. This included a series of projects, including upgrade in infrastructure and risk management framework. The bank recognized early on the importance and the need of a rigorous risk management framework, system, practice. So during that period, we worked with various experts and consultants in the space, including KPMG, who advised us on the risk management project, which commenced in 2014, and DBS as well, that were consulting us on our Basel II project, which actually commenced in 2015, which was very early days relative to the Vietnam
I was going to
landscape.
say that would have been one of the first years in recent times for any bank, Tier 1, Tier 2, to start getting very, very interested in becoming one of the leaders of Basel II compliance. So for a bank of your size, you are very much on the front foot with digitization, risk management, and compliance guidance, initiation activities. Sorry, continue.
No, that's absolutely correct. Risk management and digital capabilities, I would say, are some of our core strengths, our core foundational strengths. So as you said, with regards to Basel II, the project took over 2 years, from 2015 to 2017. So we've been compliant and operating under the Basel II framework ever since late 2017. And we're amongst one of the first batch of banks that were certified by the State Bank in early 2018.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're actually now also in a good transitionary capable phase of becoming one of the first to go to Basel III compliant too in the coming time. So when you look now, that's a good footing for you to get into your expansion of business activities. Yep. You're a SME specialist. With the size of your bank, you've got the advantage of having a bit more flexibility in credit growth. The State Bank of Vietnam, for the large banks, is usually a bit stricter in that part of their credit growth activity. But you're looking for 2021 guidance of around about 25% credit growth, pending SBV approval. Last year, you had double-digit, over 20% growth in that area. You had state bank approval. You'll probably get it again, I would imagine, because if we look at the 2020 results of your business, very good. NPL control, very good. So they know you're a well-run bank. The way that the Q1 results show for your typical client market, which is SMEs, net income growth for quite a lot of those was very good. You're not in a lot of the higher risk areas, like you're not lending to the big companies that are impacted by COVID-19 too much, like aviation and so on. The way that you are aspiring, therefore, to become one of the top 5 banks by 2025, currently you're around about on any given day 9th or 10th in terms of size in market cap. So you're on a good road to get to that level. Where do you see the next focus for OCB as your strategy? Are you going to expand in any particular areas, whether it be fintech, whether it be, you've got the Generali bank assurance deal, SMEs, expanding into other types of activity? Earlier on you noted that around about 2010 you had around about 24 branches. Within the space of barely 10 years and change, that's now gone up by over 100 more than that. You've got approaching 134, 135 branches right now. So you've had very good physical bricks and mortar retail branch rollout as well. Can you expand on how in your branch network, I noticed you've got some micro branch service centres, then you call those micro SME
hubs.
Banking hubs.
Correct.
What are they?
Essentially, at the moment, as it stands, micro SME is a division, a segment of its own within the bank. So essentially, it's the hubs are there for the relationship managers and the staff to cater to the smaller end of the SMEs. For instance, in terms of, say, solar or renewable projects, the larger ones, the more industrial ones, commercial ones would fall within what we currently call corporate banking, whereas the smaller ones, perhaps household rooftop projects, for instance, would be covered within the micro SME segment.
Very good. So you're supporting at a very hands-on level the smaller entrepreneurial SME segment, in addition to what you just noted, the corporate banking hubs. And you've got, from the slide deck that I've received, roughly the similar amount of points of presence, staff service centres, nearly 30 in both of those fields already. So that sounds like it's quite a socially responsible thing, supporting the micro SME market segment. You're not overlooking it. They can, if they're successful, then grow into one day becoming your corporate banking clients. You've probably seen that transition over the years with OCB client types that you've got. Where do you see that your key areas for growth? SME, any particular area of SME?
So let me just clarify a little bit, because you mentioned the MSME and the CB, and I know currently we call them MSME hubs and CB hubs, but in terms of our strategy going forward, we're actually thinking of corporate banking as everything non-retail. So essentially, with regards to our strategy, which we briefly touched upon, the entire sort of model that we are opting for and pivoting towards over the next 5 years, or starting this year even, is a more targeted approach into customer segmentation. So it's a very much customer segment driven strategy as opposed to product or digital or anything else. What it means is we will be focusing efforts on targeted customer segments within both the retail side as well as the corporate side. On the corporate side, this will include SME, upper, lower as well, up until around the mid-market corporate size. And from that targeted customer segmentation, in terms of our products, it would be tailored to better service those customer segments as well. By organizing ourselves that way and approaching customers in that manner, we will be able to understand them in more depth, provide them better solutions, better tailored, better catered solutions, and across our entire channel, which I don't know if you've mentioned, we've talked about is an omni-channel platform, which we're very much proud about.
That was my next question area to go into and explore further. On your slide deck, looking at that from late 2018 in particular, the launch of the omni-channel, first online omni-channel platform in Vietnam. So again, you're a first mover there. Can you explain about that now for us?
Yeah, so let me talk you through a little bit about where we've come in terms of digitalization. Last year we had Gartner come in and do an independent digital maturity assessment on us. And we were at 51% versus 32%, which is the sector average at the moment. So we are quite advanced compared to the banking sector.
Okay.
Yeah, almost double. And we were actually rated market leader in terms of 3 categories or 3 criteria. This included digital development strategy, digital platform, which is inclusive of digital of IT infrastructure, safety, security, as well as core banking system. And thirdly, our other systems, which includes our BPM and Open API. I can walk you into a little bit more depth in terms of this. So in terms of, firstly in terms of digitalization, over the last 3 years, so since around 2018, the bank has made significant investment in firstly building the omni-channel platform. This means that our customers can initiate a process on one channel and complete it in another channel because the customer information is accessible across all channels, as the name signifies.
Yep.
Secondly, it involved developing our mobile app, which we call Omni, OCB Omni, for quite obvious reasons, as well as the web. And this is a in-house developed and managed app. So we believe that going forward, this will give us a bit of a competitive edge in terms of being able to bring differentiated offerings to our customers, as well as being able to develop and get to market faster. Thirdly, there is this thing, Open API, which we talk about a lot, but I think I'm not sure if everyone really understands what that is. Essentially, it is a B2B2C model, which we develop in order to share securely with our partners, our B2B partners, linkages so that we are able to offer more convenient, greater functionality, more convenient services and greater functionality to our customers on both sides. And we're able to do that securely thanks to our secure infrastructure. And I think lastly to say with regards to digitalization on the customer-facing end, this year we also recently launched eKYC, and we plan to leverage that in order to broaden and reach our target customers faster without the limitations of physical branch network or physical footprint. not only reaching them but servicing them remotely. This is particularly relevant given COVID nowadays. And secondly, we plan to optimize our technology investment by migrating and adopting cloud technology. This will allow us to scale more rapidly without needing to make the upfront investment. So those are the things we have done and are doing with regards to digitalization on the customer side, but on the back-end side or behind the scenes, which I guess customers and most people would not be aware of, we are also quite advanced, or we have started making progress in terms of digitizing our processes. So we have over the last 2 years invested in our BPM, which is the Business Process Management platform, from which we build workflows in order to digitize our processes, essentially. So this is something we've done with regards to some of our key processes and are continuing to do in order to increase efficiency in our operations. That, coupled with 2 other things which probably only digital and IT specialists would be familiar with, which is OCR and robotics, which would be able to help us.
Robotics?
Robotics. It's actually not as sci-fi as it sounds. It's on a very simplistic, basic level. It's essentially just this is something that that is in the plans and will allow us to eliminate human error, especially when it comes to checking balances, numbers from a contract.
Like the robo-advisory services that some banks have been rolling out. They just have like template checklists that are not roboticized as such. It's digital. Yeah. So it will be able to check rather than having someone manually check the numbers and data inputs. Got it. International Finance and Forbes, to underscore what you're doing in this area. You are an award winner from International Finance for Best Digital Transformation Bank 2020. So that totally underscores what you've just been discussing. And then Forbes, one of the top 10 most effective banks 2020. Forbes accolade there as well. So you're certainly at the forefront. I know from looking at your peers, a lot of the tier 1 banks have been talking about spending tremendous amounts of money getting their digital ecosystems and platforms sorted. Conversely, you sound to have almost got it all together. A quiet achiever, being noted by international institutions and media types such as International Finance and Forbes. So you've got many more
thing I would say
parts to go in this process, or is it pretty well?
One thing I would say on that is that we take very measured and calculated steps in our decision making, in our path of growth, as well as in the investment decisions we make. We have also rightfully or wrongly opted for leveraging both our in-house capabilities as well as certain outsourced components. So I think that has served well for us and is allowing us to be nimble and ready for change. So it places us in a good position in terms of what we are trying to accomplish over the next couple of years.
Okay. Headcount-wise, you've got over 5,000 staff, 5,000 employees, 134 branches or thereabouts. With your staff, now that you've got the bancassurance arrangement with Generali, that's an exclusive one, they're being skilled to cross-sell a whole range of products now, I'd imagine, coming through in the development platform that you've got with Generali. So components of your income, the net income mix, you'll start to probably get a fair bit of non-interest income coming in as well. A lot of that will be coming through, which will be repetitive. It'll be an ongoing, probably slightly increasing source of income for you as well. When you're looking at future areas, such as the recent initiation of pension plan approvals from the government, when you look at things such as offering up securities trading opportunities for clients, I would imagine you'll be able to have the comfort of being able to strategically partner with a lot of listed securities companies, perhaps as clearing partners for your wealth management staff who advise your clients who would like to get an allocation in listed equities. They can do the wholesale institutional clearing for you. You've already got Generali doing the insurance for your clients there as well. Do you see that your relationship recently with the strategic partner now, Azora, do they have any ideas that you can disclose, about where they think the vision of OCB might head in the next several years?
Yeah, I can shed a little bit of light on that. With regards to big picture, where we're heading, our goals, our ambitions, they are very much aligned and supportive of what we are trying to accomplish. In terms of what we are doing more closely between our team and their team, they have a few members on the ground with us full-time at the bank as well. We are working at the moment on reviewing certain business opportunities, particularly between this opportunity space between Japan and Vietnam, particularly within the smaller corporate, or you might call SME clientele. There is a lot of interest from the Japanese side to invest into Vietnam, and this is not necessarily covered well by the large banking players over in Japan as well as here. It's probably not a priority to them, but it's just the right sweet spot for us.
Sure, it's good business for you.
Yeah. It's our portfolio as well. So it's not something that we have, due to COVID, there were some logistical constraints in terms of setting up the team and having them come here. But I think in the coming future, we will be coming up with more concrete offerings for such Japanese, Vietnamese space.
Sure, the Japanese historically have been a top 5 FDI investor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of industrial park activity with Japanese specialists working here as well, coupled with working with their Vietnamese national colleagues. The digital platforms that you've got in place, you could look at things such as e-payroll, which is one of the digital operation platforms that you're looking at there. So you can, if you get your relationship right with your Japanese strategic, they would be a great door opener, I would imagine, to a lot of untapped, as yet unserviced OCB target clients into the future.
And not only in the Japanese space, the entire FDI space. We have a small Korean desk at the moment as well, which is doing very well, and are dedicating more attention at the moment to the FDI space, which we haven't been focused on very much over the recent years.
Okay. And just to wrap things up with, you've also been, now that you're listed, able to open the door for staff retention policies, such as with Esop. So you're able to allocate a percentage of shares to your staff. One thing I've noted about your recent reports and announcements, the AGM news, You had an Esop, which is, to me, quite interesting. It's restricted from sale for up to 4 years from date of issuance, which highlights you must be very confident about the quality of your staff and the longevity of typical career length of your employees, because some listed companies, their ESOPs are usually 12-month turnarounds, and some ESOPs that I've seen, they don't have any lockup whatsoever, and they tend to have quite a high turnover of staff as a result. So I think it's, again, just another highlight of the professionalism of your business, to have quite a lengthy lockup period and have the staff obviously all happy to be rewarded through an ESOP platform for that amount of time. When you envisage to then look at the 70 million shares issuance that you've got to domestic and foreign potential investors coming up, that will be this calendar year or potentially next calendar year? You're in no rush for that, aren't you?
Yeah, so firstly, with regards to the ESOP, that's right, we have a 4-year vesting period on our ESOP, and the entire purpose of it is to incentivize alignment to our longer term goals. With regards to our current management level, as well as middle management as well, but more particularly our current, I must say that we currently have a very dynamic management team with a wealth of experience, a wealth of multidisciplinary experience, actually. And one thing to note is our ability to embrace and leverage on that diversity is definitely a differentiating factor that has not been mentioned very often. Coming back to your question with regards to ESOP issuance and private placement, in terms of timing of the events, obviously we would be issuing stock dividends first. So this is administratively a process that we are commencing right now. Then with regards to ESOP, once that stock dividend issuance is done, then we will commence issuing our ESOP. So if the private placement were to occur, it would essentially be occurring concurrently.
Okay. Well, we definitely look forward to further news about the placement. It'll probably be highly sought after. Thank you, Maya, for joining us today on Mirae Asset Live, and we hope to have you back in the next several months to get an update after the first half result, which I'm sure will be very, very interesting, given that the results for Q1 for most companies in your business sector on the HOSE have all been reporting very good numbers, net income growth numbers in particular. So thank you. Steve Brown from Mirae Asset Live.